What's up guys, Zach here from Move Outdoors, and on today's video I want to do a gear review of something that I ran all last season, the Latitude Maverick Saddle. Now as you can see, this is a single panel saddle. This comes in at right around $200, so it's on the cheaper side for saddles. What kind of drew me to it is it seemed to have a lot of features of higher end saddles without the price. It's kind of why I went with this over the Lone Star. In addition, I just love the bridge system that Latitude has here. So I kind of want to go over, one, how I have this set up and used it all last season, and then just an overall how I use it and review of the saddle. I keep my lineman belt always attached here to the right side lineman loop just so I can keep it right here and ready to go. Then once that's out, pull that all the way out. Right inside that, I've got my tether for when I get up to height. And then the last thing I have in this little dump pouch right here is my gear straps. And this is how I'm going to hook up my bow, my backpack, and anything else that I'm gonna have up in the tree with me. In addition to the dump pouch here on the right side, you're not gonna be able to see it unless I get a little closer here, I have some paracord loops that I tied in. And the whole point of the paracord loops, I've got one on each side here. The whole point of those is so that as I'm going up the tree, I can hang a stick off the side of it. And I'll just do a quick demonstration of that here in a second. But I don't really have a ton of attachments on it. You know, I'm not a huge fan of having a whole bunch of stuff on the side. One of the things that drew me to this saddle though is this feature right here. So a lot of people with single panel saddles, I read online, they don't really like it because it feels like you're wearing a diaper. When you're walking, it's a real pain. My favorite thing here about this Maverick is that it folds up. It's easier when your butt's holding it in place, but it folds up right like that. So as you're walking then, it has a much lower profile. And then when you get to the tree and you actually want to start climbing, you can just flip it down. And then you have your full saddle support. And I really like that. So we're gonna go ahead and put this thing on now. And just like any other saddle, you know, you're stepping into it. So step in, pull it up to the height that it's gonna be. And then the first thing I do, tighten my waist belt here. And I'm not a huge fan of this tag end. So I wrap it a couple times right in here and then make a small loop. So it's not as big, it's not dangling all over the place. And then for the bridge, I just make sure that as I'm walking in, that's as tight as I can really get it. And then I kind of do the same thing. I actually take it through these bridge loops right here, and I'll just loop this a couple times and then tuck it back past itself so it's not flopping everywhere as I'm walking in, not coming undone. I'm not dragging this behind me, and that makes it much more comfortable for walking in. And then like I said, so as you step up, you can see here, this is fully expanded down. All I do, flip it up right like that. Then you're good to walk in. It's really sturdy. This doesn't just flop down for any reason. I didn't have that happen once last year, regardless of how far I walked or what I walked through, whether it was hills, swamp, you know, even in the kayak. I wore this in the kayak a couple times as I was going in. Had no issues whatsoever with this panel falling down and becoming uncomfortable then. Tell you what guys, I almost forgot to talk about one of my absolute favorite parts of this saddle, and that is the difference in the bridge and lineman belt texture and feel. And the reason I love that so much is because when you're getting ready in the dark and you're going to climb up, you know, I'm not a huge fan of running really bright lights when I'm getting set up. So if I go ahead and, you know, swing this around the tree, I don't need to question if I'm grabbing my bridge loop or my lineman loop, because they have a different texture to them. And I think that that is such a small but well thought out part. I really love it. I think that that's one of the coolest things about this saddle. So I'm just going to do a full example here of what I do at the base of the tree. So we're going to pretend that the saddle itself isn't here. What I would do is same as what I have right here. So I'm running Lone Wolf Custom Gear sticks and the Lone Wolf Custom Gear The Fix saddle stand or saddle platform. So what I would do is get the first stick on the tree, and then depending how high I'm going, if I'm going 2 sticks, 3 sticks, I'd rarely go 4 sticks anymore. Most of the time I don't even carry a 4th. I only have 2 with me today though. So what I'll do then is just grab that little paracord loop that I showed you before, and this Versa button that's on my stick here, I'll just slip that right in there, and then that can go right there. And the fix has a nice little hook, I guess you want to call it, for slipping into one of the loops back here. So I put my saddle platform back here. I got a stick on my right hip if I'm only going 2 high. If I'm going 3 high, I have a stick on both hips. And then to start climbing, I'm just gonna open up my dump pouch, adjust the lineman to whatever I need it. And as you can tell, aside from my sticks and stands, I'm not super brand loyal. I mean, I've got Latitude saddle here. This is actually a Dryad rope, and then my tether is a tethered tether. So not super brand loyal when it comes to ropes or anything like that, but I'm just gonna swing that around the tree, hook in, of course, lock it. You always wanna make sure you lock this tether, and then seat this stick if it hasn't been seated already. As you can tell, I mean, this is way too much slack here. So one nice thing about this Dryad is it has a tender, a Prusik tender right here, so I can just pull that tight. But then I'm gonna go up higher. I'm not gonna go any higher than this. I'm recording off my phone. I can already see that the top of my head may or may not be in frame. I think it is, but just barely. But if I was gonna go higher, I would just take this off my hip, fold that down, put it on the tree, tie it up, keep going. And I do that till I got to my desired height. And then the nice thing too, when I'm going down in the evening, it's the opposite. I just stand on the next step, wrap up my rope here the way you see, hook it back in, and it's secure. It's hands-free. It's not gonna clang off stuff. It really doesn't even swing all that much. So I really like that. Okay, so you guys can see that I moved the camera a little bit so you weren't staring at my butt during the rest of this kind of demonstration as to how I'd set up. So now I'm up here. You can see I'm on my platform. First thing I'm going to do after the platform's set is seat it. I've already done that on this one. I'm not going to do it again. But you can see the lineman belt still attached. You want to be attached all the time to the tree. Then you're going to get out your tether. I got my tether around the tree. Now I'm going to undo my bridge here, adjust that then to where I feel comfortable having it. Your bridge length is really, it's a personal preference really. It's going to control your angle to the tree. I personally like kind of being a little bit farther back. We'll see here what this looks like, but I'll suck it up pretty tight there. Yeah, it's a little looser than I'd like, so we're going to drop that down, pull in a little bit of bridge, and then you see that little thing I do with my hips right there? What that does is I'm taking pressure off of my lineman belt while I'm also pushing up on the Prusik on my tether, and what that's doing is totally transferring the weight here. As you guys can see, one of the things that I forgot is I forgot to lower this bottom panel down here. Which I will say is kind of one of the downsides of having this flip up panel. There was a couple times last year where I got halfway up the tree or something and went, oh snap, I never lowered that. So we're just gonna real quick show you. It's super easy to lower it. All you're doing is flipping it out. Done. Now it's a full system, much better. But that is kind of one of, like, the only downside I really found with this Maverick saddle is the fact that sometimes when I climb up originally, I forget to drop this lower panel. Is it a big deal? I don't really think so. Maybe some of you will, but I don't really think it is. So now this is set up. Now I'd get my gear harness out, put that up. And then once the gear harness is on, take the linemans off. All right, now I want to talk about the comfort of this saddle. Is it comfortable? That's probably one of your top questions for purchasing really any wearable hunting gear. And I'm gonna tell you, this is a very comfortable saddle. So I spent I don't know, there were days I spent 8-10 hours in this saddle last season, and it stayed comfortable the entire time. I never found any hot spots. I know some people get hot spots or pinch right here, right around the hips. I never had any pinch. I never had any hot spots, and it really didn't matter how much clothing I had on, what the temperature was. I never really had any issues. So I was using this saddle from October 1st, which is the day that Iowa's season opened, all the way through, I think my last hunt in the saddle was December 19th or something. Might have been the last day that I was in the saddle. So, I mean, I was in this thing a lot last year. I was in it from temperatures in the 90s all the way down to temperatures below zero, and I had absolutely no issues with pinch, with adjusting it to fit extra layers of clothing. You know, that's another concern people have is, can I actually use this when it gets cold out? And, you know, I got a pair of long johns on, pair of pants on over top of that, pair of bibs over top of that. And yes, you can. I mean, I found that I have enough adjustability here. I'm not necessarily like the skinniest guy in the world, but it fit great. It has great adjustability here for me. So can't say enough good things about that. So it's one thing to see how the saddle does, you know, when you're standing here directly against it, but I had no issues putting weight over here, bringing weight over to the other side. Heck, I even had to shift around to the other side of the tree. You guys can't even see my face right now, a couple times last year. I mean, the saddle's pretty comfortable at just about any position you can put yourself in normally. Really, I really just can't say enough good things about it. I really think it's worth the money. I think the Latitude Maverick is the best bang for your buck saddle on the market right now. And if you're in the market, I highly recommend it. And this isn't a paid promotion. I want to make that very clear. I ran this saddle all last season. I bought it from Shields with my own money, and I absolutely love this thing, and I just want to get this word out to you guys that it's a great saddle. It really, truly is. It is absolutely, in my opinion, the best single panel saddle on the market. I found very, very few downsides with this saddle last year. Pretty much the only downside that I found was, like I said, occasionally I would forget to flip this bottom panel down. But you realize that as soon as you put weight on yourself here, because you can just feel the difference in the weight distribution. There's a little more weight on my butt right now as compared to when this isn't down. Most of the weight is coming through up here at the hips. I don't think it's something that should stop you from buying the saddle. You might just need to be a little extra vigilant about it. I absolutely love this saddle. I killed 4 deer out of it last year. And really, I think that this saddle is absolutely worth your money. Latitude makes some awesome products. And when it's time to replace this saddle, I can't wait to see what they come out with next. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching today's gear review. We're trying to do some more of these, bridge that summer content gap. So drop a comment down below on what other gear of ours you'd like to see us review, whether it's filming setups, actual stand and stick setups, you know, our bow setups, whatever. We're open to kind of doing it all. In addition, we're going to be headed to TAC, Indiana this year at the beginning of August. So we're going to have some TAC videos coming out towards mid-August timeframe probably. But if you're going to TAC, Indiana and you happen to see myself, Ryan, or Tyler there, make sure you stop and say hi. We are going to be giving away a camo Move Outdoors hat. In addition, these are available on our website, themoveoutdoors.com. But we're also going to be giving away stickers. So if you see us at Indiana, stop by, say hi. We love getting to meet you guys. We've met quite a few of you at TAC, Pennsylvania, and it's always just an absolute blast. But till next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like, subscribe, comment, and till next time, you're on the move with Move Outdoors.